Hello, this is David Jenkins, a Plata Town Council member from Ward 4. I will be your host for this podcast, providing updates about the La Plata Town Council meetings, issues we discuss, and those issues affecting you as residents, and other related activities and issues. You can also follow me on my Facebook page, D. Jenkins, LP, Town Council, Ward 4. Please note the Town Council has work sessions each month on the second and third Tuesday, with our business meeting on the fourth Tuesday. All meetings start at 6 p.m. using the Microsoft Teams platform. Meeting agendas can be accessed through our town website, and all meetings are recorded. So now let's get started with our latest update. Hello, and welcome to episode 5. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving, and now we look forward to a great and joyous Christmas season. Today I want to talk about two items. The first is the American Rescue Plan funds we received from the federal government, and two, additional clarification and information about the town's annexation process. First, let's talk about the American Rescue Plan Act, or commonly known as ARPA. This was federal law that was signed by the President in March of 2021. This is an economic stimulus bill that is designed to help communities such as La Plata recover from the economic and health effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. And as we are all aware, we're still are affected by that new variant. La Plata has received an initial allocation of $4.7 million out of a total of $9.4 million we will receive. The remaining funds will be received by July 2022, and all funds, that is the total $9.4 million, must be spent by December of 2026. The federal government has specific eligibility requirements but can be used for the following types of activities. Support urgent COVID-19 response items to decrease the spread of the virus and bring the pandemic under control. Replace lost public sector revenue to strengthen support for vital public services and help retain jobs. Support immediate economic stabilization for households and businesses, and address systemic public health and economic challenges that have contributed to unequal impact of the pandemic on certain populations. Our current town staff is now going through a process to identify projects that are eligible for this ARPA funding. So I have an ask. I am seeking your input on how we should spend these funds that we have received from the federal government. Again, we have received an initial $4.7 million. So it's really important that we hear from the community. Please reach out to me or the town manager with your ideas and suggestions to make the best investment and use of these funds. This is particularly important as we now begin to prepare for the next fiscal year 2023 town budget. The planning cycle begins in January 2022. Two important components of our fiscal 23 budget are a staff compensation and benefits analysis and an organizational study, that is how the town is organized and staffed to meet future demands and needs. The results of both these studies will be available as we prepare the next budget. So again, also, the use of ARPA funds is also important as we begin this budget cycle. The second item I want to talk about is other clarification about the annexation process. There has been recent discussions during our public forums at our work sessions and business meetings about the annexation process. And I'd like to explain this process and emphasize that 2 public hearings are required by law. 1 public hearing is required by the Town Planning Commission, and then a second public hearing by the town council. So when an applicant submits an annexation petition, it is forwarded to the Town Planning Commission for their review. As part of this review process, comments are received from both Charles County, other state agencies, including the Maryland Department of Planning. The Planning Commission may conduct, and usually does, have work sessions as part of their review process. They are then required, as stated earlier, to have a public hearing where the public can provide their input. And the purpose of that hearing not only is to hear the public comment, but also what would be the appropriate town zoning if the annexation were to be approved. The Planning Commission's recommendation is then forwarded to us, the Town Council. The Town Council then also begins their review process and includes work sessions as part of this review process. Again, the Town Council will hold a public hearing to again obtain public comment about the requested annexation. Please note that the Town Council is the final approval authority to deny or approve all annexation petitions. If it is approved, or if one is approved, an annexation agreement is prepared and is part of any approval. An annexation plan must also be included and would include proposed land uses and anticipated public facilities that may be needed or anticipated for these services. So there are many issues that both the Planning Commission and the Town Council include, and part of this analysis includes what is the best use of this land within the town. Should it be residential or commercial? And then what are the impacts on traffic, stormwater management, the character of the surrounding neighborhood, crime, police services, new commercial services, the town boundaries, mitigation of any environmental problems, specifically failing septic systems, and any other impact on public facilities and services. Now, assuming that an annexation is approved, current law allows for a referendum process. That is, within 45 days of the effective date of an approved annexation agreement, at least 20% of town registered voters may petition for a referendum. Upon completion of those signatures, the signatures are then verified, and then an annexation referendum, that is a vote by town registered voters, may be held within 15 to 90 days following confirmation that the election notice was published in a local paper a minimum of 2 times at weekly intervals. So this is a petition process that registered voters may submit to the town with at least 20% of town registered voters. Again, this is part of the law and part of this process for annexations. This occurred several years ago during the Walmart annexation. As I recall, that annexation was approved by the then town council, and then there was a referendum that was held. That is, 20% of the voters submitted a signed petition. The signatures were verified, and then there was an election or a vote, and as a result of that vote, the Walmart annexation was disapproved. That is, it was not allowed. And that's where we are today on that particular project and that status. There has been some discussion about the cost of these referendums. I will verify, but I recall at the time that annexation cost to the town was approximately $30,000. But I believe, and again, I will verify this, most, if that, the entire cost of that was borne by the developers of the property or the folks who had submitted a referendum. I'm sorry, by the folks who had submitted the annexation petition in the first place. So again, I will verify these facts soon and post them on my Facebook page. So again, that's in a nutshell the current annexation process. So summing up this particular episode, those are the 2 issues I wanted to talk about. Again, please contact me with your thoughts particularly on how we use the American Rescue Plan funds, as well as any other questions or comments. I want to hear from you. Thanks again for listening, and enjoy your Christmas and Happy New Year. This concludes the latest La Plata Town Council Ward 4 update. I hope you find this podcast informative and useful. So let me know what you think. I look forward to speaking to you again and listening to your questions and concerns. To reach me, my email address is djenkins@townoflaplata.org, or my cell phone number is 301-263-3471. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon.